Hey guys, welcome back to the Star Wars figure review. Next video, we're going to take a look at one of the figures in the Black Series line, which has been released in some of the commemorative packaging. As you haven't already guessed by the title, it is the Arc Trooper Commander from the Star Wars Clone Wars 2D Microseries and the Legends Clone Wars timeline, as we all know. Now before we look at that, we'll take a look at the packaging that this one comes in. Now, as you can see again, there's stated in an earlier review, it says very similar style to the 2003 Clone Wars style packaging that we got back when the Microseries was brand new, and it's sort of just tied in with there. We got our own line of action figures there. This has of course been upscaled in regards to the the Black Series style as we had there, like we had previously with the figures from the Clone Wars line that were released back last year. These being the 2008 Clone Wars series and 2008 films that included Anakin, Obi-Wan, Echo, and Clone Pilot Hawk. And then of course we had the Power of the Force packaging with Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Greedo. And even for more with our Phantom Menace figures, where including which I have got the Qui-Gon one for, you can probably just about see that on the shelf behind me there. And so this time around we got ones from the 2D Micro series, and this is the one we got here, the Arc Trooper Captain. This is the only one that I chose to get out of this line. I wasn't too bothered with the other two that we did get. They were being Mace Windu and General Grievous. I just saw no need for having them in my collection, so I just decided to skip out on them. But this one I wanted, so I could at least have one of them, and I thought this would be the one for me to go for. I do like the artwork on the side there of the Arc Trooper, really well done. It just gives you that nice little nostalgic feeling. And on the back there you do have the 50 years of Lucasfilm there, along with a picture of the Arc Trooper there, and the uncoloured, the black and white sort of storyboard style of them in action when they invade on Munlist and later on Hypori. So that's kind of what goes on with them in there. And you can have a quick read of the bio there. And just want to pause there, but then that'll show you there. So yeah, of course, because these guys do appear on the Battle Immune list, so they have their own recon mission first, and then Obi-Wan joins them once they're in position to try and defeat Sand Hill, and then Dirge sort of comes into the play and they attack, but then eventually they defeat Dirge, and then they capture Sand Hill, and of course they're called in for Hypori, where General Grievous has been invading, so the captain ends up taking a squad out of Arc Troopers out there to attack Grievous and save Genndy Mundi. So we'll take a look at the figure now. Now, I've seen this from the other views already. There are some definite downsides that this figure has. The first one being the paint application doesn't quite match up to that of the Arc Trooper that we've got on the side there. Some subtle differences there, but there's that bit of it that doesn't match up, and that's one of the shameful bits to go through first. I mean, the Vintage Collection version of this figure just did the figure far better than the Black Series one has done. It's just used a lot of reuse factors, and they've not done it right. That's kind of what's going on there. Especially like the first part being down the helmet. I'll say the pauldron part is fine, as is like most of the rest of the armor, but it's mainly the helmet and the pistols are what have been done wrong with this figure. Because this one they've just put the basic Captain Rex style pistols, whereas on the show they had more of their unique style pistols, and as I said, the Vintage Collection did these fine. Even for the standard blue armoured Arc Trooper as well, they did it fine. Yet for the Black Series, they've given us these, and I'm like, why? Like, what's the deal there? Like, how come one line can do it properly, but the other one can't? And that just had me shocked. Like, I was thinking, come on guys, can we not do something? Have the other part? And then they do also include like the standard carbine and the DC-15 rifle. So I just thought, why give us these and these when these troopers carried these pistols, so these were redundant to begin with anyway. So why didn't Hasbro just give us the proper pistols that they wielded in the show? That's what I'm getting at here. Like they've definitely gone wrong on that part. And as I said, the application with the paint on the helmet just doesn't quite fully match up to what you want in the series. Like, they could say it's for realistic interpretation. I thought, well, a Vintage Collection can do it realistically, why couldn't this? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like I said, the Vintage Collection did it well. This one not so much. Like there's the parts of it that have been done well, but these two specific parts in the helmet and that just don't quite make it what it's meant to be. And the helmet's not even removable as well, which makes it in one issue, despite the fact there is a head underneath there. Like this time, it's not an unpainted white head. Like it's got the flesh color on the head. So I'm even thinking to myself as well, why didn't they make it removable? So yeah, there's a few things that this figure has definitely done down on. And even though some of the paint application is great and all the different features on it work. And also we do get the downward scope as well, the rangefinder, that works as well. This figure's got stuff with it that works, but that, again, that stuff really drags it down. Like, I'd have given it, if it had been properly applied and we got the pistols as we know them to have, I definitely would have given this like a 9 out of 10. But I think doing that drops it down to a 6. Like, I wanted it, of course, so I could have one with that came in the unique packaging of the Black Series as well. But I did also want one of these to go in the collection. But this is just not done well. It's like those two parts really make you think about whether it was done well or not, and that was unfortunate. I'll give everyone down the articulation though while we're at it. I've got the ball joint head, the double points for there, ball hinge shoulders, ball hinged elbows, swivel wrists, and it does have the butterfly joints in the arms as well, so you can get some good poses. Ball jointed torso, ball hinged hips, swivel thighs, ball hinged knees, and ball joint rockers at the ankle. So they've not gone wrong there, and you can get this thing into some damn good poses. That's what can be said. But there's just some of the stuff just makes you think, yeah, they've done this a little bit wrong. Like, again, as I said, these pistols belong to Captain Rex, not Captain Fordo. So that's a bit of a downside. And the helmet could have done with a bit more work done to it, as said there, in order to make it look better. And I've even seen some fan versions that have just improved this figure so much, and they've definitely worked it out better. So I think Hasbro haven't fully missed the mark on this, but they've definitely not done it correctly, and I think it's a shame because we don't really get many figures out of the Legends timeline in the Black Series. I know we started to get a few more now with like comic packs and stuff, but this one could have been far better done. Like out of Legends Clone Wars, should I say, like the whole multimedia project, we've got Fordo here, and we've had Clone Armor Obi-Wan, and as I said, the Mace Windu and General Grievous. So we've not got many from the Legends side of things in regards to Clone Wars, but I think it goes well on the shelf with clones, but it doesn't quite match up to the Vintage Collection. I think if I'm to compare this one to the Vintage Collection, the Vintage Collection one's done it better. Right, that's what I have to say. Like there's some bits of Vintage Collection that keep me grabbed to it, and even just detail like this one now is there. I got my review of the Vintage Collection one that'll just pop up on the screen now. I did that early this year, so you can go and have a look at that. Don't worry about that. But yeah, this one it's very hit and miss. Everything that's done with it, and as I said, it's just a shame, and just the fact that it included these when these Arc Troopers don't even wield these, so why they even bothered to include them in the first place? Because if you remember in the show, like they all had a different variety of weapons that they had. While I said the Vintage Collection ones only included the two double pistols as well, because I've got two of the blue armored ones, but I had some spare weapons in the side as well that they used, so you can't even just swap them out for that if you kind of want. But then again, you can't really do that with Black Series, unless you actually have earlier clones and stuff like that. If you actually have the weapons you feel would work right. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get this one for what it is. I mean, but if you feel like just skipping out on it, skip out on it. Like I don't blame you if you want to skip out on it. But it's not the greatest Clone Trooper figure I've ever owned, but I think there's definitely just other parts there. It's a shame, like, for all the other little details that they've gone for on this thing, like its detailed backpack, the little bits of the armor on the legs there. All the other detailed bits try to make it worthwhile, but there's just, like, as I said, a removable helmet would have been great, but we don't have that. And like I said, especially since the head underneath's been painted, I don't see why it isn't removable. So yeah, there's definitely some faults with this figure, which don't make it the greatest of figure, but I think it was good enough for me to own it anyway. Just to have in the set as well. Just goes, and plus I only had one of the Phase 1 Clone Trooper in the set, not just being the standard Phase 1 clone from Attack of the Clones. But I would like to see if Hasbro do release the blue armoured versions of these further down the line. Well, I haven't said anything about doing anything like that, because currently I think they're focusing on Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary stuff for next year, so I have to wait and see what comes with that. But this one is it's not the greatest of figures. I'll say that. I'll just be honest right there. It's not the greatest of figures. It could have been done better, but it was a nice idea to throw one of these into the mix instead of just giving us some basic clones again for this line, and give we've got at least one unique figure in the line, that being this one. Because I mean, we've had a Mace Windu before, we've had a General Grievous before, but to have one that we haven't had before being this, definitely suits up to the line. So yeah, I'll leave a link down in the description below to where you can buy him, if you so wish to get him anyway, because I'll still like to have him anyway. So yeah, I'll get the blasters back out so you can see him again. But yeah, just looking down all the details there on his arms too, like the red stripes. You can tell Hasbro kind of wanted to make this good, but there's just bits where they've slipped, and that's just been the unfortunate part. So yeah, that's all to give there. So yeah, but I feel this would go good alongside like maybe the Echo, if you've got Echo as an Arc Trooper, that would go well. But other than that, not so much. So yeah, as I said, I'll leave a link to the description to where you can buy this, and do drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell when you find out I've uploaded more stuff, and I'll see you in the next.